Hello, friends. My name is Claire, and this is a base game home I made for a family of 8. So, a few weeks ago, I made a Instagram poll asking my followers how many Sims I should make a house for, and it was tied between 8 Sims and 5 Sims. So, last week I made a home for 5. You can go check that out. And this week is the family of 8. So in this house, I have grandparents that have a child, and then another child who lives in the basement with their spouse and 3 children. So we are starting off in the kitchen. I was kind of wanting this house to kind of feel like it was built in the early 2000s. So that kind of explains the cream wallpaper I chose and the tile cooking space I chose. And so we are just going to be adding some upper cabinets. I wasn't originally planning on doing a base game house, but I felt like it would be fun to do a little bit more of a challenge, but it's definitely manageable. And I feel like most of these items I do use like on a week-to-week basis. If you seen my videos before, you would see like, oh yeah, that picture, he always uses that picture, like, oh yeah, she always uses this item. And so we are just going to be adding some shelves above the seeing these windows do look out into the front onto the front porch of the house, and so I'm just going to be adding some decorations on it to the shelf real quick, and we are just kind of figuring out what would look best on the shelves and what would look best on the counters. Since there are 8 Sims living in this house, I did want to make sure that there was a lot of like area to cook together. I don't know if that's like working right now. I really just only build in The Sims. I don't really like play like with families and stuff. And so we are just going to be adding a little island. And I do make this into a Berkshire brick island. I feel like it just gave a little bit more contrast, and even though I wanted this house to feel like it was built in the early 2000s, I did also want to add a little bit of like an extension, and I was thinking that this would make sense maybe like they've lived in the house long enough, their family's grown a bit with one of their children living down in the basement, and so having like a sunroom slash dining room area would probably make sense. And so we are just going to be adding some wall decorations behind the computer. I feel like I've said this before in previous videos, but like having like a cool piece of wall art like behind the computer or where the computer camera would be facing, just to kind of that give it a little bit of realism of like, okay, these people may be having like video conference calls. And so we are just going to be going and adding some items onto the desk. I did kind of talk over the bathroom. This is the only bathroom on the first like ground level floor, and so we're just going to be adding some decorations onto this computer area. I was kind of imagining that maybe this area wasn't like originally here when the family first moved in, but since they've had other family move in with them recently, they kind of had to adjust where the computer is. And now we are just in the sunroom slash dining room. I was trying to get the long table for 8, but I couldn't fit it into the space. I probably could have like extended the room in a way, but it was just kind of, I liked the size of this room, and Sims don't always eat at the same place at the same time, and so I was just kind of being realistic with that part of gameplay. Even though I just admitted that I don't play the game that much, I do know that part because I do watch Let's Plays, and so I could have gone like out, like on the sides, but I didn't want to cover up the window wells, which is kind of common if you know what basements are, or like seen basements. There's like ground windows with like in the basement with like ground, like little outcropping for ground and windows. Anyway, we are now in the living room, which is the area when you first walk in. It's not like any like closed off. It's pretty open, and I just wanted this area to feel very cozy. I also put some kid items in this area because I was thinking, oh, maybe both of the parents down in the basement work, and so it's the grandparents' responsibility to watch them during the like after school time. And so we are just going to be adding a little dollhouse and a little craft table. Did also want to make sure that there was a toy box for the kids to put all their toys in. And I tried to keep all of the curtains like kind of cohesive throughout the space. I know that can kind of help distinguish a room from its neighbor room, but I wanted to have a more unified feel throughout this space. And so we're just going to be adding some of these old pictures. I was thinking this would look kind of cool. Like this is like maybe the grandparents' parents, and so we are just going to be going outside real quick. This area was pretty simple. I knew I wanted to have like an outdoor dining space and a little bit of a lounging space, and I do add some monkey bars for the grandchildren to play on, and I wanted the monkey bars to look kind of old or like really run down, and I wanted to add a hot tub because I just haven't added a hot tub, and this hot tub comes with the base game, and so it's perfect and a nice space filler. And so you're just going to be filling in with a little bit of this ground rock, or as I know it, as chat, because my family is recently doing a lot of yard construction, and so this looks familiar to what we are putting in our own backyard. And I did want to add a little raised garden space. Like that was just like a nice little hobby spot for gardening, nice in the sun. But the monkey bars are kind of like right outside of the entrance to the basement. There is an entrance inside and an entrance outside. I just felt like that would be like more privacy for the family living in the basement if there was an like separate outdoor entrance. I did want to make sure that this monkey bars looked real nice and played on, and thinking about like the family I was picturing that they've like lived here forever, it just kind of made sense to make that monkey bars really muddy and really like rough ground right there. And so we are just going to be adding a little bench by the monkey bars for like an older sim to watch them play, and it's also for the toddler to like eat outside with the family. But now we are in the basement of the house. I do the second level above ground at the end of the video, although when you see the screenshots, this will be the last part of the video or the screenshots. And so first thing I do is add like a nice little entertainment section. I wanted this area to kind of feel like the entrance to the basement, like the separate entrance to the basement from the outside was kind of like added on, and not this like TV unit was just kind of there beforehand. I did also want this space to feel like a very family friendly space, and so I put like the bear chairs and some other kid inspired items out here in like the main living room space. I did also add a computer into this area. Even though there's one in the kitchen, I wanted this area to feel like its own unit. And maybe if you don't want like 8 Sims living here and you have the get for rent pack, or if you want to like have a roommate down here or 3 roommates down here, you can have them live down here in the basement and have this full 2 stories for your own sim family. And so we are just going to be adding some pictures and just kind of making this area feel very lived in, but I still wanted to feel like kid friendly, and so I have that little like pencil jar with like the Bear pencil eraser, and so we are just going to be adding a little drop zone shelf up here. And I wanted this apartment down here to be feel kind of small, and so I like have like the shoe racks like right by the front door, but it also kind of helps with like cleanliness to like have like all your shoes like right there and not like throughout the house. And so we are just going to be making a little collage wall, and it was kind of hard to just choose from these base game pictures. I love doing collage walls in The Sims, but it was like kind of hard to like find items for just from the base game. And I did want to do something kind of fun behind the TV wall, and so I did paint it in a just plain white instead of the cream for like in the rest of the apartment down here. And so we are just going to be adding a little side table with some toys on it, and I do add this giant bunny Blarfy like stuffed animal in a second. I was trying to decide like how kid friendly I should do it, and I was just kind of thinking that the little teddy bear of a heart is enough, but the giant bunny is actually interactable. You can help your children and toddlers like gain some skill from it, and so it just kind of felt kind of evened out with like usefulness. And so we are just going to be adding a little like toddler toy basket, and I do add another like toy bin for the kids, or I guess the toddler can use the toy bin too, but I was imagining that the more kid toys would be in the toy bin you can see on the left of the screen. And so we are just going to be adding that bunny. And now into the bathroom. This is the only bathroom in the basement, and so it's a little bit of a funky layout with the sink being right in front of the shower, but it is still functional, and so I decided to just kind of keep it. Where I'm from, basements are usually unfurnished, and the homeowners have to finish themselves or have to hire somebody to finish it. And so I was imagining that maybe the grandpa of the house, well, before he was a grandpa, he was like finishing this off as a dad, and he's like, you know what, that's fine, let's just do it. And I had to have a shower in here because I do have a toddler in this house, and if you maybe don't want to play with a toddler, you can just get rid of the toddler bed, all the toddler stuff, and maybe switch out that shower tub combo for just a regular shower, and then it won't be a weird sink in front of the bathtub situation. But now we are in the first bedroom of this house. It is a 4-bedroom house total, with 2 bedrooms being on in basement and 2 bedrooms being on the second level of the house. And we are just going to start by adding some dressers in the beds. I put 2 dressers because I was mentioning that the pink and blue bunk beds would have the pink dresser, and then the toddler would have this kind of like stair looking dresser or clothing thing, because I feel like seeing those different like clothing items on the bin, it's like, okay, maybe the toddler thinks they can dress themselves, but they really can't. So the parents are trying to make it easy for the toddler, and they got bins with those clothing items for the toddler. And I did want to give a little bit of a book inspired theme for the bedrooms. And so you see I have some bookshelves in the room, and I did also add some book inspired posters for that bunk bed on the ground floor, one that you'll have to climb the ladder to get to. And so I do have some like toddler books, even if you Sims can't reach those toddler books, they just go to across the room to those books on the children's side of the bedroom. And now we are in the kitchenette. I figured that this would just be a little space if the family down here wants to just have family dinners by themselves. Maybe the grandparents and the aunt or uncle I designed for a bedroom for up above are out of town or something, they can just kind of stay down here and have dinner or maybe breakfast together as a little family unit. And I wanted this area to just be a little kitchenette. It's very small, and my kitchenettes are kind of just like sink, fridge, or maybe even like a toaster oven or microwave. I do have an oven down here, and so it is a fully functioning kitchen, just very small. You can only have one sim prepare food right here, and so we are just going to be adding some wall art and going into the second bedroom in the basement, which I designed for the parents of the three children, or two children and toddlers, if you want to be specific. And so this area is just very simple. I do use the same dresser that I used in the children's room, and I actually repeat that dresser upstairs as well. It's just a nice dresser that can easily fit behind a wall, and it's easy for your Sims to move around. But now we are on the second level of the house, and this is the final level of the house, the final spaces. So first I just add a little landing spot, and now we are in the aunt or uncle's bedroom, or the teen's bedroom. I gave them a interest in guitars, if you can't tell by the bedspread and the three guitars I am going to be placing in this space, and I just want to do something different, and I haven't used this base game bed, and I like using items just or doing builds just for the base game, because it kind of helps me grow and stretch and use items I haven't used in a while. And I did do a base game build not too long ago, but that was just a 2-bedroom house. This is like a 4-bedroom house, and so we are just going to be adding some kind of geeky posters, I would call them, just kind of like some fun posters that I would imagine would be in a teen's bedroom, and especially a teen bedroom, like with a very like inspired like music and stuff. Maybe these are like album covers, and so I did forget to add a side table to the beds down here, and so we're just going to be doing that real quick. And back upstairs, we are now in the primary ensuite area, and so first we are going to be starting off with this bed, and I use this kind of thicker bed from the base game, and I just liked it. It looks kind of like older to me, like the grandparents got it when they were first married and they just haven't really changed it, and so we're just going to be adding a dresser. And I don't show any bathrooms up here on the second level because I feel like showing you those two other bathrooms was good enough, and so it's just pretty much rinse and repeat with bathrooms. We are just going to be adding some mirrors and going to be adding some other wall decorations. I feel like this area turned out pretty nice. I do add an extra window overlooking the private balcony that overlooks the backyard. And this space came together pretty quickly, and we are getting close to the end of the video. So if you enjoyed watching, please do me a favor and hit that like button. It means so much to me. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It's free, and I'm just a small content creator here on YouTube. I post new videos every single Tuesday, so I hope you stay around and come back next week. So if you have any build suggestions for me, leave them down in the comments. Bye!